the great grandson of freedom icon Sri Rajagopalachari. He's quit the party now, and I just want to quickly quote him before we try and get a reaction from him. Kesavan has said, "Congress no longer stands for the values it had and for the reasons I joined." And now getting the first reaction, CR Kesavan joining me on India Today. Mr. Kesavan, what happened? Because I do know that in the past few years you had tried to put out views that all was not well, but this is an official resignation this morning, and it's a very carefully, clearly worded resignation. What led you to put it down finally and say, "I call it quits"?
Good morning. I've been associated with the party for the last 22 years, so It's indeed a sad day for me. But I would like to say that for some time now, and I'm saying this with all the responsibility I can summon, because I've seen the trajectory in terms of the attitude and approach of the party for a long time now. I mean, in my opinion, any effective party, I mean, in particular, even an opposition party, should have a very well, clear, defined narrative. And I think they should take up people-centric issues and offer constructive suggestions in order you gain the trust of the people and eventually win their support. But let alone being constructive, in my opinion, I think the approach and attitude of the Indian National Congress has, leave alone be constructive, I don't think it's been cogent, coherent, and many a time it's been riddled with a lot of contradictions. I mean, I can illustrate this with one or two examples. If you see, I mean, let's say take the nomination of Draupadi Murmuji. It was a great, proud moment for us, the first tribal individual and woman, you know, cutting across the parties. We should have been very happy and welcomed it, because you know that this was the same Congress party when the NDA Vajpayee ji had proposed Abdul Kalam ji from my state of Tamil Nadu. The Congress party supported it. But here, when Draupadi Murmuji, the first tribal woman president, was being announced, what were the reactions from the Congress party? A senior working committee member said, "Murmuji represents an evil philosophy." Another person said, you know, no country should have a president like this. I mean, this, for any right-thinking person, I'm not saying right-thinking in terms of politically, but any right-thinking person, this is very untenable. I mean, because this is a proud moment. And another instance, I mean, the problem is it's not become an exception to the rule, it's become the norm. On January 23rd, I mean, when the government announced the naming of 21 islands in Andaman Nicobar, you know, in the names of these great 21 Paramveer Chakras out of the 14, you know, were given posthumously. It was a proud moment. I mean, cutting across politics, transcending politics. Everybody should have welcomed it. But what did a senior leader in the Congress party do? He questioned the surgical strikes and he asked the army for proof. I mean, this is very, very, very saddening. And
what do you think is happening in the Congress party? What you're saying is very important. There are some decisions that are taken that reflects the country in a good light. But the Congress...
No, see, we are in politics. I didn't get your name, sorry. I forget the name.
I'm Pooja Shali here. So my
sorry,
question...
Poojaji, sorry. See, Poojaji, the most important thing is politics is an instrument, a platform, and a medium to serve the nation at large. And these things transcend politics. So my feeling is you can't be parochial, you can't be petty, and you fight your political fights. But when it comes to Draupadi Murmuji or when it comes to honoring our Jawans, I think personally I felt that I don't belong here and this is not the right place for me, which is why I gave resignation.
Have you been able to reach out, maybe speak to, there was Mallikarjun Kharge, Rahul Gandhi, Sonia Gandhi. Did nobody realize what you were feeling?
I have an extensive period of relationship. I've been very happy and fortunate to work with Srimati Sonia Gandhi ji. She's given me a lot of opportunities. I've been in the rank of a state minister. I was Prasar Bharati board member. I've served with the organization. So many a time I've expressed my feelings and she's always been cordial. And I have a lot of respect for her. But the problem is over a period of time, all of us started, what can we do? When the Draupadi Murmuji thing happened, I tweeted. When this Jawans happened, we tweeted. But after some time, you realize this doesn't echo or reflect the values for which you thought you joined. Which is why in my personal opinion, I felt this is not the right place for me, and I resigned today.
You were in fact not living in India. You decided to return and serve your country.
That was 21 years back. Yes. Yeah, I was very idealistic, and I am very idealistic till date. So.
And you come from a family of the last Governor General, who's been a Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, and this is a family that's been in politics.
Poojaji, I am not a dynast. My great grandfather was in politics. And he resigned, you know, in 1954. So my father was, you know, he was a private contractor.
Correct.
My grandfather was the first news editor of Hindu. So after 3 generations, I came back to politics, and I didn't have a father or a grandfather who had a constituency. So I was like any other new person who came in with idealism, and I still have the idealism and hope for the country. But unfortunately, I feel that this is not the vehicle for me anymore. And
do you think, Mr. Kesavan, this is a leadership issue? Someone needs to tell the leadership to reach out more, because it's not that you're the first one. There are so many young netas of the Congress party who have left, right and center over these past few years. And is there someone at the top not realizing that they are, yes?
Till today morning, it was a concern of mine that something was wrong, and there is a pattern, and it's not ad hoc. Definitely there seems to be. That's why I told you the stand of the party when Abdul Kalam ji was nominated, and how the Congress welcomed it, and the way they reacted to Murmu ji as an evil philosophy. So there has been a huge change in the perspective and the approach of the party. And I personally am not comfortable with it, and people who are not comfortable with it are probably leaving the Congress. And I'm not in a position, and it doesn't befit me to give advice to the Congress party. But with all sadness, I can say that this is not the party of the freedom movement anymore for me, which is why I left. And I joined the party in the first place because somewhere it was associated getting freedom for us. Besides the other people and various organizations who fought for freedom, Congress played an important role. But now I don't think the party is that for me, which is why I.
What would you say, according to you, is the problem? Where is the Congress going wrong? Not connecting to people, losing whether it's state elections, and even in 2024 not becoming the challenger than it should.
Pooja ji, as I've mentioned, the public discourse, the attitude and approach to issues need to be constructive. The attitude and approach needs to be, in a way, it's people-centric, and people can relate to it. But if one is reactionary and cynical, and and you speak in different voices, I mean, I think that's the issue, that there is no consistency, or there is no. It's a bundle of contradictions, in my opinion.
Is it because I didn't see you in the Bharat Jodo Yatra also, and you've been asked?
I've mentioned that I have not participated in the Bharat Jodo Yatra because my heart was in it, and I felt that what the Congress party for some time now has been propounding and speaking, I am not in consonance with it. Which is why I said it won't be right. Conscientiously, it was not right for me to participate, because my value systems are such that if I inherently believe in something, viscerally I do it, but if I don't, I step away. But now it's come to a point where rather than being aloof for some time, I thought the best is probably get a fresh and clean start.
You've also interestingly said there could be speculation of me going to another party, but I've not spoken to anybody just yet, because that's likely to come up. Someone will say that you're going to come up.
I have very clearly mentioned, Pooja ji, that I would like to serve in politics, and that is what is my choice of a medium to serve the people of this great nation. And I feel, hopefully, let me illustrate, if I can indulge. My grandfather, wrote translations of Mahabharata and Ramayana. You would have probably read it, and he won the Sahitya Academy Award for Ramayana in 1958. My two favorite characters in Mahabharata and Ramayana are two similar people, very strong sense of right and wrong and beliefs and conviction, but both were on the wrong side. One was Karna. He was on the wrong side, but he chose to be with them. The other was Vibhishan. He was in a side where, his beliefs and, faith were not in line with them. So he left them and he found the right place. Hopefully, God willing, I'll find the right place too.
Do you think that it is, at some level, the hate for, let's say, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, that the Congress is not realizing that their decisions or reactions are actually not helping them as a constructive opposition party, and that's why they're isolating with regard to public too? Do you think Bharat Jodo Yatra helped at all, or actually didn't make much of a difference?
I think in the history of our country, in my humble opinion, other people would comment better, any time a personal attack has been leveled, I don't think it's worked. Whether it was in 1971 when it was Garibi Hatao, Indra Hatao, or later times, a personal attack on somebody. One thing we should realize is whether you agree with the political philosophy or not. The mandate which the people have reposed, Narendra Modi ji, has been very resounding, and I mean it's not just the victory, but the magnitude of the mandate. So I think we should be very careful in the way, we can differ with policies, we can differ with, the way you want to go about doing things. But I think the personal attack, I don't think it's a very healthy, progressive politics in my opinion.
C.R. Kesavan, you remember Rahul Gandhi had said, we are not going to stop anyone. Even Priyanka Gandhi had said, those who want to say this is the time to fight, and they've used all sorts of words for the Bharatiya Janata Party. Those who don't want to fight can leave. Are you the one who does not want to fight, did not want to fight, did not get opportunities and leaving? Because that's likely what the reaction could be.
That's not the case. I have said in my letter that even, very recently I was offered a organizational position at the national level. It was not right for me to reveal who's offered it to me. And I declined it. I didn't, basically elaborate on the reasons, but I declined it for the same reasons, because my value system is I can't be double-faced. I can't go and think one thing in my mind if I'm uncomfortable and speak. So I had very clearly declined that. And fighting is very good, I agree, but you have to fight the good fight and you have to fight the right fight. So I don't think this was the right fight for me, which is why I've kind of distanced myself.
Where do you see the Congress party going as a future, whether it's opposition? They're aiming for leading the alliance for the centre, maybe even make an alliance in the government in 2024. Mallikarjun Kharge said, and then Rahul Gandhi attacks Trinamool Congress hours after Mallikarjun Kharge said we could be a strong alliance. So do you see a future for the party at that point for 2024?
Poojaji, if I had seen a future for the party in line with my value systems, I would have been in the party. So that is axiomatic, my answer is. I'm really more concerned about, rather than the future of the Congress party, the future of this country and our people. And I think I would like to be, associated with, a larger platform where we can do more good for the party. And I think our future of the country is bright. And I think, at 75th year of our independence, I think India will become a superpower in the years to come. And I hope to play my small little role in helping, nation building.
I have two important questions. One, what next? Maybe you've said already it's too soon, you've not decided, but do you aim to stay in politics? Do you think it's a leadership?
I've written very clearly that the only track I ever wanted to run was in politics, and I will, God willing, continue to be in politics and serve through a political platform. But when and how remains to be seen, and hopefully things will unfold, in the coming days.
Is this a leadership crisis if the Congress resolves and then perhaps it can find itself in a better position, or do you think it's a core coterie that's harming the Congress more?
Poojaji, I think personally it doesn't matter to me anymore, because I think that's a problem they need to look into and they need to contend with. And I think I'm in a very good healthy milieu and zone, so I'm happy where I am.
Is C.R. Kesavan today taking this decision out of disappointment, reaction? Is it well thought out? Could you be speaking to perhaps MK Stalin or AIDMK or any other party, if not the BJP? So first, whether this is disappointment, reactionary, or very well thought out that you had to leave?
That's a good question. This is not a knee-jerk reaction. This has been, even in my party, or many of our colleagues have been, it happens in any party, but many of our colleagues who we've traveled with, and I've said that I'll maintain those friendships, all of us have been disappointed and disheartened and in a way in which things were going. So everyone to his own people have, decided to do what is right for them in sync with their beliefs and conviction. And I feel that this was happening over a period of time. Even if you go and see my tweets over a period of time, I've deferred to the party on many an occasion. And when the differences are so stark, there is no point in continuing somewhere where you don't belong. And as far as what will happen in terms of, I'm just going to wait for some time and see, how this plays out.
And today, so final question is, Mr. Kesavan, is this a larger disappointment that you're not the only one? There is a lot of inside Congress party, specifically among young netas, this is brewing and there's nobody to address it at the earliest.
My only feeling is any political party should harness the strength of, the younger generation, and I'm not saying I'm young, but I'm saying the younger generation and other leaders, and I think good potential, right-thinking, earnest people, should be utilized in the right way for nation building. I think that's the primary responsibility of any party, and if a party fails to do that, it's indeed very unfortunate.
Mr. C.R. Kesavan. I want to thank you for speaking to India today.
Appreciate your time.
You have resigned, but you've made some very good points. And maybe if Congress netas are listening to you right now, they could want to pay heed just in time. Thank you so much. Mr. C.R. Kesavan, he's put forth a resignation letter just about a short while ago, first reaction to us, and explaining basically what led to that decision. All the best to you, Mr. C.R. Kesavan, for whatever lies in future.